Alright guys, I got a special video for you today. Gonna be making a short little guide about where to put your wards down, where to put vision. I've seen a lot of people have problems with like actually understanding like where the best ward locations are depending on your state in the game. So I figured I'd make a short little guide about it. So first up, during the level 1, if you ever get an invade off, the best places to get wards down are right around the enemy jungler's buffs. So, because you want to know where the enemy jungler is starting. Now, most of the time, your jungler is going to be the one putting this ward down because it's more beneficial to them than anybody else. But if you're coming in from the red side, you'll be coming in along here, and most of the time, your jungler is going to put the ward down here. That lets you know that after the jungler does their red, if they're starting red side, which most junglers will because it's the easiest lane to get a leash from, you'll see them on Krugs. Because Krugs is, sorry, Raptors. Raptors is the second camp that most junglers are doing these days. So, you'll spot them and you'll know, okay, they're still in their bot side jungle. And if you don't see them after about a minute and 30 seconds or so, actually, if you don't see them after about a minute, you'll know that they're in the top side, and that means that your top side is now much more protected because they know that they're the most likely to receive the next gank. This game and more being streamed over on my Twitch. Submit your games in my Discord for review. Let's see here. So the on the opposite side, if you're invading from blue side, you'll be putting it here on the blue buff. Easiest thing to do is put it like right over the wall right here. It spots the blue buff. It also spots their pathing if they go this way or they go this way afterwards if they try and get a cheese gank. Most of the time, this one is you want to only place it basically at like the first 40 seconds of the game or so. If you place it later than that, it's not actually that helpful because the enemy jungler will see it and they'll probably just swap to sweeper and clear it. For laning phase, when you're playing on blue side, you're much more susceptible to ganks because you got the tri-bush and you got the river that you can be ganked from. So the best places to get your wards off, specifically for early game, because of the changes to Blast Cone, if the enemy jungler doesn't ever want to use like their gap closing ability to hop over this wall to avoid vision, so what you want to do is you actually want to get your ward right about here, because that way it'll spot the ramp, and if they hop over the wall, you will see them as well. Like you'll see them on the mini map, you'll see them for a split second as they hop over the wall, and this gives you much more time to remain protected, or basically to back off from the enemy bot lane if you're getting ganked. Especially so, like if the enemies hacker him or whatever, this is about the time they'll press E to start speeding up to run at you, and you have an extra like 2 seconds to react. Whereas if you've only put the ward right here, you've only got about a second to react, and you're probably still going to end up having to burn a flash. So it's particularly helpful in that scenario. It's extremely useful purely because the bomb plants don't spawn until about 9 minutes now, whereas they used to spawn at 5 minutes. So the next ward is if you're playing in like a competitive game or a competitive environment, and you're on comms. What a lot of people don't realize right now is the TP change has made it so that your top laner can TP at about 10 minutes. And what you can do is during a gap between like the waves, if the enemy laners don't have vision of this, you can put a ward down right here, and your top laner at like around 10 minutes can TP to this and get an amazing flank off without anybody knowing that, like, basically they're screwed. And the reason that they're screwed is because the shortest way, like when you're running to back to your turret, is the in path. It's the shortest like path back to the turret. This forces them to take the long path because they don't want to walk straight into you, which means that it's going to take them way longer to get back to their turret. And it's gonna basically guarantee that the TP flank is gonna work. You're gonna either kill one or both of them at least. The next ward that you want to talk about is a lot of the times there'll be people who they'll put their ward like right here, just directly over the wall. But I actually think that that ward is really useless. You should always put the ward right here. This ward is always way more useful. And then what you do is you pop this bomb plant. That's going to be around like 9 minutes, like I talked about. But that most junglers, if they're hopping over this little tiny like cone, they're not actually pathing from their raptors to here. They're gonna go here and still be on vision and hop the wall. Or they're gonna check this bush first. Most people will check this bush first, and then, which even if they clear it, like you still know that they're there. It gives you the information that you require. Next place is when you're trying to establish vision in the river, and this is always aggressive. It's much better than to put an aggressive vision line than it is to put a defensive vision line. So you always want to overreach with the vision. So like you want to be like, okay, we get the ward here, right? Well, since you're already here, take a couple steps over, put it here. It gives you better vision of this side over back here. It gives you obviously the buff coverage again, and it's much less likely to get cleared. People are going to come sweep. They're going to come sweep this. They're going to come to this. They're going to hit it or whatever. It's not going to reveal this ward. They're going to sweep this bush. They're going to sweep this bush. They don't get anything off of it, right? But you already, with this ward, what you're getting is you're getting the pathways of the enemy jungler to the river. There's no way that the enemy jungler doesn't pass over one of these wards going to the river, and gives you the information you need, that they're the two lanes, that like mid lane and bot lane, are susceptible to ganks. And if you want to have just like the random like river ward, this is the ward that you want to place when you're defending dragon, because there's no way that somebody can get into dragon without sneaking it. Plus it just gives you much better vision coverage. It covers the ramp, covers almost this bush. Just the best places. And you can reverse this, like for top side, it's basically identical, just reverse the wards. These are the best wards, like general wards, for when you're trying to defend river. When you know that, when you have vision that the enemy jungler is on the opposite side, say like you're coming to set up wards right now, and you spot them ganking top lane, what you want to do is you want to put this ward down. This ward gives everybody so much time to react to the enemy jungler. Your team can even set up kills on their buffs, on their gromp. It just gives you such a heads up, and no jungler like passes over their wolves when they're up. They just kill them. So it's 100% catch time. So let's see here. If you're playing, let's see here. If your mid laner is playing really aggressive and you want to like set up defensive vision specifically for them, that's really useful. One of the best wards that I know of is you come over here and you put a ward right here at the edge of this. And then your mid laner wants to put their ward on the edge of this, that gives them complete coverage of, they're getting ganked from behind them, they're getting ganked over the wall, they're getting ganked from here. Like it basically makes them impervious to ganks without a sweeper. Very useful for them. Setting up vision in the top side. What you want to do is you want to come over here. You want to get a ward right. Now, I always put the ward right here when I'm coming in here. If I can walk in and they let me walk in, I put the ward right here because it covers the raptors and it also covers the exit of this bush. Then I'll come over here and I'll put this ward, which covers the top lane from the most common gank path from either the mid lane or the jungle. Also lets you know, like, this is you're covering 3 pathways here in the jungle, so you really have a lot of information there. That ward can also be used bot lane if you're on the red side and you want to ward their try, and they have a pink in their try and you can't really contest it. Well, what you'll do is you'll walk over here from like the red side of the jungle, walk over to this wall, put this here, and now you have vision of the 3 pathways heading towards the try. The most likely like roam path from the mid laner as well as their jungler. and it gives you a lot of information. Because most of the time they're gonna pink this bush, or they're gonna sweep it even if you put wards in there, so they're very likely to get cleared. And if you want to supplement it on the red side, you want to supplement it with this. This is the second ward that you'll make. Instead of putting it in the try, if you put it here and there, there's no world where they're gonna sneak through your vision without walking over your wards. Another tip, when you're playing on red side and you're thinking that you're gonna get ganked, but you can't really walk into the river to put a ward down. You want to just immediately check if you're getting ganked right then. You see this little rock here in the waterfall. You hug the wall, you aim in the rock in the waterfall, you press the ward, and there you go. You got a ward now in the river bush right there, so you can see if you're literally currently being camped by the jungler, like if he's sitting there waiting to get the gank off. That way you don't walk in, because otherwise if you walk in here, the gank starts and you're dead. Best places to put your pink wards when you're trying to set up like objectives. The best defensive pink wards, most people already know, is you put one here. But if there's already one here, the next best one is here in the pixel bush, because it's too far forward for them to have to clear, because otherwise from here they can clear it over the wall. Here they have to walk into already a kill zone where you can set up, like, you can ult them, you can set up the gank. It clears the wards that are over here, like right here. It also spots the people coming from here. It's a very easily defensible 2 pink or operations the same way over here. If you know that nobody has been to the dragon or to the objective to possibly have put a ward down, your pink ward can instead be right here, because that way it actually covers these walls for them trying to get vision over, and it denies even more vision. That's only if you know for a fact there's no wards on the dragon. You can check that by just coming in, you sweep it, and then you walk out, and you're like, okay, pink here. Later in the game, you want to a good place to have pink wards when you're just like in general you have a split pusher and you need to, like, you want them to be protected. Specifically, you want to get them a pink ward right here, and that's the same down here. Gives them the most defense from coming from these directions, most likely to gank them when they're on their split lane. Gives them a lot more defensibility, helps them out. That's your win condition, especially a lot of times when you're playing split. So another like really just strong warding position. Now most of the time you're not going to be, as the support, you're not going to be up here, but another like extremely strong like warding spot is right here. It always, like, if you can get this early game, it spots the enemy jungler coming from their blue side to their red side. Everybody 100% pass through here. There's no way to avoid this ward. Spots them on the raptors. Spots them coming from this direction, coming from this direction. But every jungler will walk through this bush on going to their red side. Same with this side. And it's a lot easier for red side to get this ward because you just walk in, you get that ward right there. But that is a very powerful ward that gives you a lot of power, like a lot of vision. If you ever get a chance where like the enemy team like didn't defend their jungle vision very well, you can just walk in, you can put a pink ward right here, and a lot of the times that pink ward will be there for like 9 minutes, 10 minutes. Nobody will come and walk through that bush, and that'll give you permanent vision of the jungler doing either their Krugs or their red. So those are a bunch of ward spots I find extremely useful. Probably the most important ones in the game currently. If you guys have any more like questions about maybe like you want to see like a top lane warding video or anything like that, let me know, and I'll be sure to make one. Good luck out there, guys. Join my Discord and submit your games for the next VOD review.